Now, I had the opportunity because I was always interested in doing something I hadn't done before. I took metalworking shop, I took print shop, and I took electric electricity. I learned to make things with tin and metal. I learned to solder and so forth in metalworking. The next year, I learned to set up a printing press. Well, I set up, I mean, you have a bench and you have a just a zillion pigeonholes, and you've got letters of different sizes and dimensions, and spacers of different size and dimensions. And you had, I think we just called it a stick, but he had a device that you could make rows of print and lock them up in tight so they couldn't move, and decide spacing and all stuff. The press would open and close. A sheet of paper would feed, and you would ink the type, and the type would hit the paper, and the paper would move, and you open up, you'd ink, and the machine did it. And it was a big press. The problem we had in that class probably stayed after school more than any other class in the rest of the school, regardless of subject. You've got all these little pieces of metal, and you're behind a desk, which is high enough so you almost have to get around them to see, right? And what do you do with these little things? You bomb your buddy across the room who's behind his desk. So maybe two guys working behind the desk and a whole bunch of desks, and everybody's got these weapons, missiles, right? And so you're constantly throwing stuff, constantly getting caught, and constantly getting kept after class. It was just too many things to toss at each other to resist. Didn't always get caught, but it was almost automatic. Now, the print teacher was kind of a bull of a guy, and he was very proud of the fact that he had joined a frat in college, and one of his college souvenirs was a frat paddle. Minimum, when we weren't raising too much hell, minimum was 15 minutes after. Now, if your mother told you you got to be home right away after school because you got a dental appointment or something, whatever it was, you were in serious trouble. Now, if you couldn't or didn't want to stay that extra 15 minutes, you'd volunteer to go in the back room where all the equipment was stored and close the door, and you hear a whack. The door would open, the person would come out, tears streaming down their faces, and they would leave and go and be home in time for the appointment. If you really had to go out in 15 minutes,
2 whaps.
maybe 3 whaps. I mean, you paid the price. 20 minutes later or a half hour later, it was only 2. And if you held out long enough and didn't mind going home leaving school 45 minutes late, you could escape the paddling altogether. That's what it was. It was a sequence. The earlier you had to leave, the more whacks you had to get out, and it reduced as you go. So some would wait if they could, and so it was. He thought he was giving us a break by setting up this system.